Well, hello everyone. Tom here. I'm back again with another video presentation. This is Ancient Home, as you saw in the title. This is an ancient Pueblo ruin that I found, and I thought I would take a shot at it. Now, the way I found it was actually online, and then I did a lot to modify the image, and you'll see that in a minute, because I'm going to have a digital composite of the image come up here. And this is really what I am painting. So it was once under a cliff. It was a cliff dwelling, and I took it out from under the cliff, and I actually moved it to a place that I know about, in my mind that is, into northern Arizona, where the plains are more flat, out on the reservation lands near Wupatki National Monument. And that's what I imagined as I painted this and designed it and made it so that the Pueblo ruin itself stood out more, and that's the reason why you're seeing it like it is now, and you're seeing it come together. I'll show you the photograph I took it from later on in the video process, but this is what I'm working on for now. Now, as you're seeing the blue sky go in, I've wet the entire sheet of paper, and I am painting the blue of the sky while the whole sheet is wet. I want to create a soft edge between the blue of the sky and the orange of the sandstone of the Pueblo ruins, and hopefully that'll make sense to you in a minute. What I'm trying to do is just manage that edge between the two so that they look more natural. And so right now, as the blue has been bleeding into the wet area, I'm just taking that brush, that very old brush of mine. Boy, it's been a great brush. By old, I mean 40 plus years, seriously. But I'm just using that to control the blue as it comes up against the edge, where I will paint the red rock of the ancient Pueblo ruin itself. So the photo inset is a digital rendition of it, and I'll change a great deal from what the digital rendition shows. It was just an effort for me to try and get a idea of what I wanted to do. So the sky will not end up being as dramatic as what the digital rendition shows, but it helped me to know what to do with trying to take that and put it against a different background. So the blue of the sky is totally dry. Now I'm coming in and wetting the area of the Pueblo, the ancient Pueblo ruin, down with water, so that I can come in with wet into wet paint and start painting that. As you can see there on my palette, I've got two different colors mixed up. I want to vary that color some and make it somewhat visually interesting in that way. Now, as I'm painting, I will be painting in this manner. There we go. Start diving in. I am painting the light. I'm painting the light side of everything. And what will really help this image to shine will be the shadows. And you'll see that in a minute as I start painting those shadows. But for now, I'm just painting the light of everything and trying to get those wet into wet patterns to work properly for me. I'm also kind of figuring it out as I go along, to be quite honest with you. That's what I'm working on. I'm just, when you start a watercolor always, it kind of seems like what you're doing is working to control the chaos as you go along. And brush mileage and experience is what is going to help you to know what to do as you're in a situation. Now that doesn't mean you're never going to blow a painting. There's always that risk. But with brush mileage experience, you can dive into projects like this with a little more confidence because of where you've been and the experience that you have had. Controlling that edge there, coming in, trying to carve that out. I use that word sometimes, trying to carve the shape of something out. That's sort of what it feels like, even though I'm using a brush. So I hope you're seeing that what's kind of coming about here is a complementary relationship of orange and blue. It's not a direct complementary relationship, but it's a subtle relationship, and I think it works nicely. And it'll be a matter of controlling those oranges and those blues so that they don't stand out too starkly against one another. Starkly. Is that a word? I don't know. Tell me if I was right. Is starkly a word? I have a feeling it isn't. Again, that brush that I'm using there, that Lowe Cornell, it's been a really good brush for me. I love how it's got a very fine tip and yet a large belly that I can really lay down a lot of paint with, and it's really good that way. So I can paint detail, and I can really lay in a lot of color. Now, even though that's a bit dark there where I just painted, I promise that's still the light side of this Pueblo ruin. You'll see that in a second. So timing is somewhat of an issue as I am painting some edges against others. I don't want it to dry for too long, otherwise I will get a hard edge between one passage of paint color and the next. So timing is an issue. Just scrubbing it in now. Just hurry and getting the rest of it in there. Some of those light pieces of paper, still the white of the paper there left, I'm not the least bit worried about them. I'll come in and work on those in a bit, and they'll become integrated with the rest of the painting. Well, okay, I think I'm going to turn you over to some music now and just let you watch the process. For the most part, the painting of the light side of everything is done. Now it'll be a matter of coming in and carving in the shadows to really help things come together. Well, okay, I hope you found that music to be appropriate. I quite liked it. And so we're just keeping on with the process here of taking it to the finish. This is a rather tedious part. There's always an aspect to a painting that is really just a part of my learning process each time I make a painting. Another way to put it is that I'm learning how to paint that particular piece. And you're kind of discovering that along the way as you go along. You lay down certain marks, it sort of begets another mark, and you find yourself just kind of exploring as you go along, figuring out what you're going to do with it. And so this green and the orange, a little discordant together. I bring in a little more blue, starts to feel a little bit better, and some of that yellow there. I'm actually right now painting quite opaquely. I'm really laying in the opaque colors on the, just barely going off screen. You can see a line of colors there, just barely see them. That these are actually transparent pigments mixed with white. And little secret here, I mix honey with that in order to keep the colors relatively easy to reconstitute. And so I hit it with a wet brush and they reconstitute quite easily compared with no honey in them, and they become very useful colors for me. I'm not at all above the idea of using transparent and opaque watercolor together. In fact, right there, as I'm painting that one gray log, that's all opaque paint. And so I'm just working the two transparent and opaque mediums together, and I think it can be a very beautiful and very handsome combination. So that's why I do it. I'm not a transparent purist or a strictly opaque artist. I love to see the two together. A lot of detail. Get through it. The challenge with this, with making these videos, is how much of the detail to show you. I mean, these could be 2 or 3 hours long if I were to show you virtually every mark I made. But hopefully what I'm giving you gives you a good sense of just the time and energy it took to bring it together, and the careful attention to detail that I was trying to put into it. Of course, as soon as I say detail, I say that very guardedly. There isn't as much detail as perhaps there could be in these. Part of the reason why is because too much detail can kill a piece. And so I love the kind of freshness with brush strokes that I like to try and maintain. Well, I genuinely hope that you've gained some things that you can use in your own work as a developing artist, and that you take to heart just the kinds of things you can do with your image to put it in the kind of context that you wish to put it in to really make it work for you. That's entirely within the purview of the artist to be able to do that. So change things up if you feel you need to. Do so wisely, do so carefully. Excuse me, make sure that it works for you. And we're about to have a photo inset come up here that will show you the original photograph that I took this image from. And so I really took it out of context. I took that cliff completely away, made it a blue sky. Well, thanks for watching. Take care. Let me know what you thought about the video. I'll see you in the next one.